Hello, and welcome back to the Drake Stormcloud channel where I'll be playing Final Fantasy XIV once more. I hope you're ready and I hope you are going to enjoy today's stream. We're going to be getting the Lancer quests done and unlocking the Dragoon job, and then continuing on from there. Apparently, Estinian was involved in this, in the Dragoon job. I heard so from one of my friends. And I'm interested to see how that plays out given, without spoilers, everything that has happened in Heaven's Ward. But without further ado, let's jump right into the game. And randomize our minion. Ah, the faction leader automaton. Now then. Obviously, this is going to be a very simple one, so you are able to discern one end of the spear from the other. Good. You are doubtless eager to put your new weapon to the test, which is well, for I have a test in mind, or rather, a trial. In order to develop an affinity for your weapon and learn to gauge such things as distance, you are to go forth and pit yourself against the creatures that roam just outside the city. Squirrels, ladybugs, and fungars. Put down 3 each and report back. You might have noticed a pattern. Yes, the initial quests for all of the jobs are basically the same. Or all the classes are basically the same. Okay. Alright. There we go. All of them. Done. Don't have to worry about the ones following me. Just continue on. Now, I'd had to call off last week's Saturday stream because of health issues. You know, I've already said about it, haven't I? I had an ear infection. It's mostly cleared up now, and treatment is only supposed to go on for a total of a week. I'm sorry, I tried to mute before I sneezed, but I think I didn't. So you're back. I trust you learned something of the essence of our art. A lancer learns best when he is doing. Each thrust makes him stronger. Such things are as strategy and technique will come with in time. And never forget courage. Without it, you cannot hope to realize your potential. Your look betrays no hint of doubt. That is well. It is clear you can see the truth in my words. That will be all for the present. Now, take up your weapon and sally forth and cut a path for yourself. When next we meet, I hope to see you stronger for your time out in the world. You already have that. Ah, you have returned. I take it from your presence that you have gained a measure of familiarity with your weapon. Good. You are ready to begin the next phase of your training. You will recall my telling you that it takes no small amount of courage to be a lancer. Now, in general terms, courage is the strength to do something which one finds unnerving. However, a lancer's notion of courage is not so simple. Having first drawn a distinction between courage and recklessness, he then divides the former into two aspects. I would have you learn each with the spear in hand. The first is composure. When outnumbered in battle, a lancer may lose his composure and succumb to panic. Should this happen, all of his training will swiftly flee his mind, and he will struggle to overcome opponents whom he would otherwise or ordinarily have bested with ease. He will, in short, contribute to his own defeat. If you wish to become a lancer in sooth, you must learn to maintain your composure at all times. Do this, and you will be able to call upon every ounce of your strength and skill when it matters most. And so, your first task. The riverbanks of the Central Shroud are home to Vilekin, known as Yarzons. Fiercely territorial, the creatures will attack anyone who strays too close, making them the bane of fisherfolk. They typically fall upon their prey en masse, barring all venues of escape before closing in for the kill. What must go through the minds of the victims in that instance? Panic? Despair? Be sure to tell me upon your return. And needless to say, I would have you brave such an encounter. Take this sack of decidedly noisome bait, and use it to lure the ever-ravenous creatures out of their nest. It may be that only one curious Yarzon appears, but what if 2 or 3 follow the scent? Let us see how you fare then. Now go now, my young lancer, and learn what it means to fight with composure. Okay. And yes, this is the Black Mage set for the Chocobo. right here. There we go. All right. Okay. Welcome back, Kiara, and well done. I trust you now understand that in times of direst need, no amount of strength or skill with a spear will avail of the Lancer who lacks composure. You are now ready to learn the second aspect of a Lancer's courage, resolve. When faced with a terrible foe, a Lancer may succumb to fear and self-doubt. Should this happen, he will become defensive and, in seeking to cover his weakness, surrender his greatest strength, namely his capacity to attack. A Lancer who fears to attack is not but a man holding a pole. A spear may as well be a broomstick for all the good it would do him. It is not and will never be a shield. That you may learn the truth of my words firsthand, I bid you to go to the central shroud, to an area adjoining the abandoned dungeon known as Spirit Hold. Since the calamity, that neck of the 12-Sword has become a veritable menagerie of fearsome fauna. There you will find 3 collapsed pillars which have become a haunt for fell creatures. You are to put them down. What manner of fiends can you expect to encounter? To reveal that would be to defeat the purpose of the lesson, my young Lancer. I will say only this. If you face these foes with a Lancer's resolve, you will surely emerge the victor. Once you've completed the trial, pray report to Jillian at the entrance hall. She has grasped the 2 aspects of courage, albeit with some trouble, though I doubt you will encounter similar difficulties. Her struggle has furnished her with certain insights, which I think you would benefit from hearing. A Lancer learns best what he is doing, aye, but the wisdom of his seniors is not entirely without worth. Go now, Kiara, and do as I bid you. Okay. Okay. Okay, there is green here, and that is where we need to go. Okay. All right. There we go. Alright. We're finally meeting some of the other guild members for the Lancer Guild. I've been expecting you, Kiara. By your return, I trust you now understand the importance of resolve. Like one's flesh, courage can be made strong. It is a matter of training each of its aspects. And now the endeavor may prove difficult in the beginning. Gods know how much I struggled. You may suffer untold humiliation and more frustration than you can bear, but you must persevere. Whenever you engage an opponent, whether in training or in earnest, make a conscious effort to fight with composure and resolve. Over time, doing so will become second nature, and you will acquire such courage as you never thought could be yours. Sorry, I'm having a bit of throat phlegm. Mind you, not all battles entail physical clash of might. It could simply be a disagreement born in a conflict of ideology. The point is, it matters not what battlefield you stand upon, so long as you take care to be composed and resolute. Your courage will grow. Did that make any sense? Even a little? I fear I cannot hold a candle to Guildmaster Yewin. But if there is aught I can do to assist in your training... What was that? Something is afoot in the training area. You call yourselves Lancers. Pathetic. Master. Arm yourself and face me. Refuse, and all will know that you are no true Lancer. Say what you will, I am above provocation. Craven to the last man. But what do we have here? Wait, she is but a novice. That makes no odds to me. You yourself admitted her to your ranks, did you not? Very well. I shall withdraw for now. Yet know it is that only the fearless are fit to wear the mantle of Lancer. I look forward to measuring your worth in the days to come. There is not more to see. Return to your drills. Kiara, you made no attempt to evade his thrust. Did your opponent so unnerve you as to deprive you of your senses? Well, it is of little consequence now. You need pay no further heed to our uninvited guest. Lest you wonder, it is not uncommon for challengers to come pounding on our door, seeking to test their mettle. For now, dedicate yourself to tempering the two aspects of courage. The composure to bring the sum of your strength and skill to bear against your foes, and the resolve to attack when fear would stay your hand, as befits a Lancer. When next we meet, I shall have another trial for you, one that will put your courage to the test. Until then, continue to apply yourself to your training. Farewell, Kira. Kiara, I swear you have gained no Kiara, I swear you have gained an ill run of arms since last we spoke. It is plain that you have not been idle. In our previous lesson, you learned the Lancer's definition of courage, and how you might go about tempering its two aspects. Today, we shall find out if your efforts have borne fruit. I see you have come prepared for battle. That is well. Your next trial will place you in the midst of a throng of enemies. In such a situation, one may be attacked from any direction, making it difficult to respond appropriately. Furthermore, the likelihood of being surrounded is high. Will your resolve bear the weight of uncertainty? Will your composure hold when the odds are stacked against you? We shall soon find out. Should you overcome this trial, what courage you already possess will be further tempered. Now, heed me well, for this is what you must do. I would have you travel to Naked Rock, where Anol claim the Enaols claim dominion. At the summit of the rock is a sacred artifact, the Stone of Courage. You must claim it and bring it to me. If you are to reach your destination, you will need to negotiate A path through whole packs of flesh-eating scalekin. Make no mistake, the creatures are intimidating foes. To stride into their midst of so many would ask much of my lancer's courage, but given time and no small amount of perseverance, I am confident you will prove equal to the task. Or we could just fly over them. Wait. It's in Central Shroud. Oh, there it is. Okay. I see. All right. Congratulations. You have obtained the false stone of courage. You heard me right. False. What does it say about your courage, I wonder? But where are my manners? My name is Volquise. We had the pleasure of meeting at the Lancers Guild, if you recall. On that occasion, I turned my weapon upon you and you betrayed not a hint of fear. It was in that instance, since you, unlike others, that you promise. And so, to the present, in its current state, the trial which you are engaged in, trial, it may be called, in which you are okay. It's a mockery of the Lancer's court. Needless to say, this cannot be tolerated. And so I have taken the liberty of moving the stone of courage to a more suitable location, now resides in the depths of Spirit Hold. Guided flow of beings. A far more fitting challenge, as I'm sure you agree. Whether or not you attempt to retrieve the stone is for you to decide. If you feel for your safety, I suggest you turn back to the guild and bemoan the world's frightfulness to the many brave souls you cowered in. Rain will doubtless be extremely courageous act. But know that a lesson is the goal you courage only when you spirit hold. The area full of imps. So the fiend's comment was not in any way an understatement. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. All right, we got the actual Stone of Courage. So you have returned. Tell me, were you able to obtain the Stone of Courage? Yes, this is undoubtedly the stone, though it is in rather worse condition than when I last saw it. And what happened at Naked Rock? The Lancer, who but recently threatened you, moved the stone to Spirit Hold. Not content with trespass and slander, the brazen fool now meddles with our training? Seven hells does not be born. Listen, Melchior, though I do not doubt you know better, my duty as Guildmaster compels me to state the obvious. Heed not that man's words. Valence's courage can only be forged in the midst of great dangers. Vainglorious tripe. As you have already learned, Valence's courage is the product of composure and resolve. Be under no misapprehensions. Watchfully navigate the Annals territory. Watchfully navigating the Annals territory served to temper your courage in a manner that blindly braving the terrors of Spirithold did not. As you continue your training, pray keep the lesson of this trial close to your heart. Here you go, Marco. Piercing Talon, we now will get a ranged ability. Oh, Kiara, you come at a good time. I urgently require your help. Since scarcely a bellico, an old friend of Felquois paid us another visit, or our old friend Felquois is seemingly intent upon reprising the performance he gave you on the day of your first meeting. As on that occasion, he raved until the air was thick with slanders, declaring every soul who met his gaze more craven than the last. At this time, however, not all ears were deaf to his married provocations. It seems our youngest members took offense at his words and demanded satisfaction of the rogue. The two have since departed to duel in East Shroud. Had I been on hand, I would have forbidden such folly and rebuked the lad for letting pride cloud his judgment. Alas, I learned of it too late, and the boy is gone. All we can do now is ensure that the hot-headed fool does not come to lasting harm. Would have you depart in pursuit of the pair ere you came, but my duties have kept me here. I would have departed in pursuit of the pair ere you came, but my duties keep me here. That is why I turn to you now, Kira. Pray, go to the East Shroud in my stead and watch over our comrade. Okay. Not far into East Shroud at all. So we meet again. You remember who I am, I trust? But of course you remember your mentor, who taught you the true meaning of courage. I understand you were here able to retrieve the Stone of Courage in Spirit Hold. It seems I was right about you. You have the makings of a true Lancer, unlike those charlatans of the Lancers Guild. It is well that you have come to me, for I have just a trial for you, one that would do wonders for your courage. Not interested, you say? But you have no choice. Should you refuse, well, suffice it to say that I will not be able to guarantee the safety of your comrade here. When last we spoke, I told you that a Lancer may forge true courage only in the midst of great danger. And needless to say, the threat posed by ordinary creatures is insufficient. You must needs seek out better sport. But fear not, for I have taken the liberty of finding you something suitable. Take this alchemic potion and sprinkle it upon the exposed roots yonder. Doing so will garner you the wrath of a certain creature, which you must then strike down. So you have vanquished the Trent. Well done. By striking down that frenzied creature, you've further strengthened your courage. Release your comment? Oh, I shall, once you've completed my next trial. This one will pit you against a multitude of foes. Make your way to Lifebend Stump in the central shroud. Once there, seek out a likely spot among the forest path to lie in wait. Man-eating wolves are wont to hunt there at this time of year, and it should not be long before their pack appears. When the beasts show themselves, you are to slay their leader, Alpha Wolf. I shall observe you from up close, the better to offer you advice. Alright, so we go back to Central Shroud. This is probably going to be a level down instance. We will be level synced into it and all that. Yep, level sync. Go. You are to be congratulated, Kiara. By throwing yourself into the midst of danger, you have further tempered your courage. And in the process, you have brought peace to Lifebend Stump, a place considered sacred by the people of Gridania. Having undertaken my trials, you must now see that those issued by the guild are not but child's play. Mine is the one true path to courage. All others are ignominy. If you wish to become a lancer worthy of the name, I suggest you leave Yevon and his house of cravens, never to return. For your sake, I pray you do so soon, till we meet again. Okay. Uh, I'm going to stop by a merchant and sell a few things real quick. Okay. That's all I need to do. Kiara, thank the gods you're safe. That young fool of a Lancer returned but moments ago, and through choking tears accounted to me all that transpired. Your resentful Quoth again attempted to force upon you his corrupted notion of courage. I cannot say this often enough. The Lancer strengthens his courage by tempering his composure and resolve, not by rushing headlong into danger. You were able to overcome Folkoth's trials. 'Tis true, yet know that you did so by virtue of true courage, that is, courage born of composure and resolve. You faltered not before the fury of a frenzied Trent, nor did you succumb to panic when surrounded by bloodthirsty wolves. Owing to this, you were able to perform to the fullest of your potential. You have come far, Kiara. It is past time that I taught you the piercing talon technique, one of the most versatile weapons in the Lancer's arsenal. May it serve you well. Now, I must needs decide what course of action to take with regards to your self-appointed mentor. Though no lives were lost, this latest incident only serves to confirm what I have long suspected. The Falquaz will cause great harm if left to propagate his corrupted notion of courage. He must be persuaded to desist, though I do not know how. Mayhap his regard for you could be turned to our advantage, but leave such considerations to me. For the time being, you would do well to put Falquaz from your mind. Focus on your training and strive to master the technique I have taught you. Look forward to our next meeting. I have been expecting you, Kiara. You have been training hard, I trust. I would set your next trial, one more dangerous than any you have faced so before, but I would not send you unprepared or an unprepared woman to her death. Before we proceed, I must needs verify your progress with mine own eyes. You will face 3 experienced lancers in single combat. Defeat each one in succession, and you will prove yourself fit to undertake the trial. Arm yourself and make your place in the training, or take your place in the training area. We will begin when you are ready. Level sync to 24, so this is the level 20 quest. Well done, Kiara. Impressive, Kiara. Most impressive. You were ready to face the trial. Yet I did not exaggerate when I said it would be dangerous. Make no mistake, to take this test is to risk death. And knowing this, do you still wish to proceed? You disappoint me. Back again, are you? That woman is the only soul in this pathetic excuse for guilt who shows any promise. Which is why I counseled her to leave you. Alas, she chose to remain in your house of cravens. Such a waste. This guild has outlived its purpose, and I mean to see its doors shut and barred for good. If you wish to object, I invite you to do so with lance in hand. We do not want for confidence, sir. But answer me this. What grudge do you hold against us? For what reason do you did you choose this of all crusades? I detest cravens who would proclaim their courage, and like nothing better than to crush them. That is my reason. Well, the fixity of your posture is clear, or of your purpose. Fixity? Even if your reasoning is not, so be it. Suffice it to say, you will not have your way without a fight. Oh, but do not presume that I will be your opponent. No, you must face the Lancer over whom you so greatly or grandly claimed mentorship. The one woman among us whose potential you considered or condescended to acknowledge. Kiara shall represent us all. As Guildmaster, I wager the fate of the guild upon her lance. Ha! Do as you will, coward. It is your guild to throw away. You may even set the terms of the contest. Very well, Kiara here is to undertake a trial. I challenge you to complete the task before she does. You are to travel to the East Shroud and prove your courage before the Lord of the Bramble Patch. He is a giant among boars, unrivaled in strength and savagery, the ruler over all his kind. You must go before this fearsome creature and stand your ground. Know, though, that the Lord of the Bramble Patch will not grant you an audience to just anyone. You must needs present him with an offering of the bloody tusks of his subjects, the wild boars that inhabit his domain. When you have prepared your offering, leave it upon an area trampled earth. Drawn to the stench of blood, the Lord of the Bramble Patch will soon appear. That is all. Are there any questions? No? Then let the trial commence. Okay. 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 Hired Gunblades. That is the continuation of that quest line. Okay, there's another board. There we go. You shan't find much sport in these two. Come back another day, my friend. Well done, Kiara. You have completed the trial. I trust you now see the truth in my words. Hurling yourself into the midst of danger is not courage. It is folly. No, this proves nothing. I refuse. I refuse to accept. You refuse to accept the weakness within you. No, Kira, leave him be. The work here is done. Return to the guild. I shall see you presently. Okay. There we go. Internet, Lancer's Guild. I will not lie to you. You are no match for the Lord of the Bramble Patch. Had you betrayed any hint of fear, he would have gored you in the space of a moment, and feasted upon your entrails. But you stood your ground, holding fast your composure and resolve. Thus, you were able to stare terror in the face and survive unscathed. Well done, Kira. You have overcome the greatest hurdle in the quest to become a master of your own courage. You may now bring to bear the full extent of your abilities upon even the mightiest of foes. As for Folquist, well, if there is a shred of reason left in him, he will have learned the self-same lesson as you this day. Painful though the experience must surely have been, one can only hope that it will serve to open his eyes to the truth. Go forth, Kira, and prepare yourself for further trials. I shall look forward to our next meeting. Alright. Level 25 quest for Lancer. It is good to see you again, Kira, and stronger than when we last spoke. Plainly, you have devoted many hours to training. Actually, it was more just dungeon runs. Which is just as well, for I have a mind to set you your next task. At the Bramble Patch, you came to grasp the true meaning of courage, and have put that courage to the proof before 3 masters of our art. In the many years since they began their trials within these walls, these men have led very different lives, yet they share the distinction of being regarded among the finest lancers of their time. And just as they once looked to their seniors for inspiration, so too shall you look to them. By availing yourself of their wisdom, you will take another step towards becoming a fully fledged lancer. Your first instructor is a man named Mathomi. Seek him out at Amarex's Spire in the East Shroud, where he serves as a frontier sentry. The long years had his post of honed Matomi's perception, and no detail escapes the man's piercing gaze. Present yourself before him for inspection, Kira, and do as he bids you. Okay, he's over there. Okay. You must be the young lancer I was told to expect. Greetings and well met. I am Mathomi, commander of the brave men and women of this spire. Now let's have a good look at you. I see. You possess strength and skill in abundance. Of this there is no doubt, but you still want for experience. Oh, I do not doubt you have seen much and more. Mayhap you believe there is not left for you out there to unnerve you. Yet the world is wide, and only the gods can claim to know all. Apparently our strength is possessed or approaching that realm. You may be assured that the legendary lancers of old faltered at times. No lancer nor any man can foresee all possibilities, but he can he can steel himself for the unexpected. I would have you do just that. Take this bottle of fresh spoken blood and sprinkle it at the foot of the giant tree to the north. Doing so will lure out creatures of the night, which you are to vanquish. Welcome back, lass, and well done. I bore witness to your battle with mine own eyes. The bloodbat bewilders its prey with its ceaseless flittering, which makes putting a spear in the beast an exercise in frustration that may easily give rise to panic. Yet, to your credit, you fought on resolutely, and thus emerged the victor. Yevon has taught you well, young. You have a ways to go, to be sure, but beneath those rough-hewn edges, I see the makings of a great lancer. With my blessing, make your way to Buscaron's druthers in the South Shroud. It is there that your next instructor, Buscaron himself, awaits. The man has a unique approach to our art, though it has been a while since he hung up his spear. His words are well worth hearing. Indeed, the lancers visit him as much as for his counsel as they do for his mead. Good though it is. By meeting Buscaron and availing yourself of his knowledge, your lance work will surely improve. we go. His cave. Okay. Well, if it isn't Haven's protege, I thought it was about time you arrived. I'm Buscaron, and this here's my place. In case you're wondering why old Haven sent you, I should mention I've not always been in the food and drink business. Before I opened the Druthers, I manned an outpost not far from here. Any road. Between keeping throats wet and bellies full, I ain't got a great deal of time to chat just now. So if you don't mind, I'll get on with educating you. Now, take this nice bottle of full flower mead. Oh wait, don't open it. This ain't that kind of lesson. Now, no, I want you to make an offering at Mistletoe's Lads, which is a monument tucked away in a rocky cleft to the south of here. See the bottle safely there, complete with its contents, and when you come back, I'll tell you a story. Got all that? Good. So literally no fight in that one. That's disappointing, actually. So you offered up the mead as I told you, and without drinking a drop. Very well, I shall have a tale, or you shall have a tale of me as promised. Style is the man who founded the Lancers Guild, and the monument I sent you to was erected in his honor. Steadily was courage made flesh. Cut him, and I dare say he'd have bled the stuff. It was him who first identified the two aspects of a lancer's courage, as well as how to go about tempering them. And that weren't all he did. Seeing how the art he had gone stale, what with our lancers keeping to the confines of the Tollswood, he sought to bring in new techniques and methods from faraway lands. But Britannia was a different place in his day. The outside world was a thing to be shunned back then, and non-forestmen were considered faithless savages. It was even worse than now. Gorsold Vistelli wasn't afraid to call the way of thinking what it was. A lot of ignorance and cowardice. To cut a long story short, despite a forest full of good old Gridonian stubbornness, he finally convinced the nation to open its doors to foreign lancers, and by blending their techniques with his own, he gave the world the art which you now practice. To this day, the Lancers Guild accepts students regardless of their origins. That wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Vistelli. Us Lancers owe him much and more, and it's our charge to carry on his legacy. Never forget that. What's that? When's the trial? Much as I hate to disappoint, there isn't one. Your courage was never in doubt, lass. My part in your training is done. 'Tis time you visited your third and final instructor, a fellow named Vux Claret. You'll find him whiling away his time at the Bobbing Cork, like as not. Oh, that's the name of an inn in Falgord Float, in case you don't know. Up in North Shroud it is. Vox Claret, an old rival of mine. Me and him used to go at it till either been clearly. Sorry, I'm not used to talking this much. Me and him used to go at it till neither man could lift his spear tip off the ground. I warn you, he was a right stubborn bugger back then, and the years ain't done much to improve his humors. So, good luck with impressing him. No shortcut to North Shroud, we've got to go to East Shroud, or Central Shroud first. Alright, just have to go to North Shroud. Alright. Okay. Alright, the bobbing cork. Yes, he's upstairs. Yep. I take it you're the young Lancer, of whom Ewan spoke. An adventurer besides, by the look of you. I was an adventurer myself once. That was before I became a Lancer for hire. That was before I became a Lance for hire. But enough idle talk. You've come to learn from me, and learn from me you shall. Be warned, though, that you will not find me as lenient as an instructor as the others. Now, pay attention. Thus far, you have learned to muster your courage in situations of fear, panic, and uncertainty. With me, you will learn to do so in the face of change. The enemy is a living thing, and living things are apt to change. Whether the nature of that change, or whatever the nature of that change, a Lancer must be able to think and adapt, and to think and adapt during battle requires courage. To teach you the meaning of my words, I would have you challenge a fiery fiend known as the Red Buffaloon, or Red Balloon. However, the creature will appear only when there is a raging flame. You may kindle such a flame by procuring 6 fingers from slain balloons and depositing them in a gutted campfire. This shall suffice to entice the red balloon. As the battle wears on, the creature's fury shall burn with ever greater fervor until it is ripe to burst in a conflagration of death. Let courage lend strength to your lance and extinguish this fiery foe. Now, for those of you wondering where could you possibly find balloons, we're not talking about party balloons. We're not talking about ones held by clowns. Even if they are red. In the world of Final Fantasy, the word refers to a certain type of creature. That's right. These. And as for fingers, well, in this game they do have these little tiny arms, and that's what that refers to. Okay. Alright. We need to wait for some to respawn, I suppose. And there are other areas here that they show up, but I see that we have more or less reached the point already where they respawn, so Alright, here we go. Alright. Now we go and report that to him. So you have vanquished the red balloon. No less than what I would expect from one of Yemen's. Your enemy altered its nature throughout the encounter, thereby causing the terms of the battle to shift repeatedly. Yet ever did you press onward, your courage holding firm in the midst of constant change. So it was that you emerged triumphant. I am not known for being liberal with my praise, but you have done well. Yours is a genuine courage. Mind you, this does not give you license to forsake your training. You are still but a fledgling among us after all. I have finished with you. You may report back to Yemen, and when you do, tell him that young upstart that I tell that young upstart that I demand he show his face here from time to time. That is all. I think I was bad with his voice. Alright. Okay. Oh, Vexant demands I show my face. I can only assume the buxom brunette of the float isn't lavishing him with the attention he craves. Very well, I shall see what I can do. As for you, Kiara, well done. I never doubted that you would meet with the approval of all three men, yet I am no less proud of you for having done so. You've traveled far in the face or along the Lancer's path, called it with the title, and soon will no longer require my guidance. In fact, you need overcome but one further trial to complete your education here. Do so, and I will give you my blessing to have the Lancers Guild, or leave the Lancers Guild, and embark upon a new adventure with Spirit Hand. As ever, apply yourself to your lance work, and return when you are ready for your final challenge. I look forward to our next meeting. Lance charge. Ah, Kiara, ever a sight for sore eyes? By your return, I take it you're ready for the final trial. Very well, let us... Guildmaster Galen. You are wounded. What happened? What has happened? We were attacked by a dusk-white lancer as we trained in the forest. he was he was impossibly strong. A demon. He kept screaming something about teaching us true courage. No, not him. Not Falquez. We were in the northwest corner of the central shroud when it happened. I was able to get away, but the others... You must help the others! Be strong, man. I am sorry, Kiara. The trial must wait. Pray, make haste to the central shroud and help your comrades. And Kiara, should you face should Falquez force your hand, do what must be done. 12 speed you on your way. Also, you can play this in first person. Okay. All right, here we go. Help! For the love of the 12, help me! Okay. I owe you my life, friend. Another breath and I would have become worm fodder. A dusk-white lancer rushed the fiends upon it, or unleashed the fiends upon us, claiming it would temper our courage. You should have seen the look in his eye when he said it. Mad bastard. Huh? Where is he now? I think he headed off towards North Shroud. Maybe in the direction of Fulground Float or Fulgord Float. I can't say for sure. I was concentrating on the Scalekin at the time. If it's a reckoning you're after, you are like to be disappointed. Those of us who managed to outrun the worms will already have alerted the whalers. I dare say the Duskwhite is being held at Spear Point as we speak, begging for his worthless life in a puddle of his own. This serves the bastard right and all. I don't think it's going to go so easily for them. Yeah, I thought that would be the case. What kept you? Helping your comrades, you say? You waste your pity on false friends. It's only a matter of time before they betray you. Aye, just like those wretches who saw me imprisoned and exiled. I was once an upright citizen of Gridania, and a man of the Lancers Guild, yet life was not easy. For want of the coin to obtain the barest necessities, I conspired with my closest comrades to steal from the guild's coffers. The theft soon came to light, and though there were no suspects, it was clear that the deed had been perpetrated by someone within the ranks. An air of suspicion hung heavy over the guild from that day forth, until at last, unable to bear the guilt, I convinced my accomplices to join me in confessing, only for them to bite their craven tongues after I had stepped forward and admitted my part in the crime. And so it was that I alone took the blame. Of course it was the Duskwite, everyone said. Was there ever any doubt? It all made perfect sense. Despite my heartfelt pleas, my so-called friends denied my involvement. Instead, they called me vulgar names that I do not care to repeat. Can you imagine the shock and anguish I felt at their betrayal? Would that I had the strength of force, or to force the truth out of those traitors. Would that I had the courage to escape my dungeon cell, even if it meant taking some hapless guard's life. Driven by vengeance and no small amount of self-loathing, I resolved to forge my courage anew. I strode into the lairs of ravenous fiends while drenched in blood. I put their helpless offspring to the spear that I might face the unbridled fury of their kin. For my efforts, I have acquired the ultimate courage, a courage forged amidst danger and tempered by rage. I fear nothing. I am the greatest lancer that has ever lived. Okay. There we go. Impossible. My courage is absolute. No, come no closer. Welp. Okay. So, Volquist is no more. His was a tragic tale, and one that might have been so different. Had fate not dealt him such a cruel hand, he would have commanded a place of honor among these halls, within these halls. But it avails us not to dwell on what might have been. It is enough that you are still with us, Kira. Unless you wonder about your final trial, there will be none. I have seen all that I need to see. You have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that yours is genuine courage, or a genuine courage even. In recognition of this, I shall pass on to you the secret of Lance Charge, one of the most potent abilities in our arsenal. You are a Lancer in your own right now. There is not more I can teach you. From here on, it is up to you to seek out such challenges as will make you grow. Like attracts like, and the strong are drawn to strength. Just as I once knew for certainty that I was destined to face the Lord of the Bramble Patch, so too will you find, or be found by, an adversary of equal worth. None can say what fate will bring, but, armed with your courage, there is naught you need fear. Keep close to your heart the lesson you have learned here, and go forth to blaze a new trail with spear in hand. And we have mastered the Lancer's path. We are now a Lancer in full power. I'm going to make a few adjustments to the action bar. Wait. we don't need fate. There we go. I dare say you might just be the right woman for the job. The Guild has urgent need of a capable lancer for a mission beyond our nation's borders. Hear me out, if you will. I've received word from an Ishgardian friend to the effect that he requires our aid. Would you go and provide that aid? As you may already know, due to her ongoing conflict with the dragons, Ishgard has kept her gates closed to outsiders for some time. The occasional Dragoon on patrol duty is about all folks see these days. In spite of her self-imposed isolation, however, the Holy See has never failed to honor her obligations to her allies. It is only fitting that we answer the call and lend what assistance we can. They actually have, though. To this end, we offered to dispatch a contingent of wood whalers with all haste, but were politely informed that they would not be welcome, much to our initial confusion. It was later explained that we were dealing with a matter of some sensitivity, best handled by individuals who are capable and trustworthy, yet unbound by allegiance, and who fits that description save adventurers, scarcely being paramount, secrecy being paramount. I can provide no details as to the nature of the task. All you need to know will be revealed at the rendezvous point. Should you accept the mission, take yourself to the observatorium. A knight by the name of Sir Elbrick will receive you upon arrival. To Ishgard, or rather the Korthus Highlands. Yeah, mount guide. I'm going to put Midwood Summer. No, not favorites. There we go. Alright, going forward, we'll be a Dragoon riding a dragon. Hello! Thank you for watching. Right now we're just going through the basic quest line of the Lancer and Dragoon. Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom Yemen sent word. Greetings and well met. I am Sir Elbrick Bale, Knight of Ishgard. The Holy See is much obliged to you for your aid. Time being of the essence, I shall proceed straight to the heart of the matter. The eye, an Ishgardian relic of immeasurable worth, has been stolen, and we have reason to believe the culprit has come this way. So it is that we ask your assistance in its recovery. The thief has been identified as a man named Estinian, a dragoon sworn to the service of the Holy See. Ah, you heard true. The crime was perpetrated by one of our own, an individual in a position of trust and no little honor. You may be assured that a fate worse than death awaits him upon capture. Knowing what we know, and with what we know of what happened to Estinian, well, let's see. My duties to the Holy See afford me little opportunity to travel far beyond the walls of Ishgard. I must confess it I must confess to grave ignorance of recent Gridanian affairs. I was told that a sentry by the name of Logandriel might have knowledge of routes oft taken by Ishgardian fugitives. I would prefer to keep my identity a secret, and thus would have you gather what information you can from the man. We must act quickly, for you see, Estinian is. But I have already said too much. Matters is that we find our thief and the eye with all haste. When last sighted, Estinian was clad in black armor. Now go and speak not a word of what I have told you to anyone. So his armor's black. Routes favored by Ishgardian fugitives? Now that's a question I don't hear every day. You aren't plotting some unsavory act or yourself, are you? Even if you were, I doubt you'd make it far. Any road. We've caught a few fleeing to the North Shroud. What with Gridania being home to nearly as many Elysian as Ishgard, it's no easy task to identify outsiders. If you're on the hunt for someone, you could do worse and visit Florin Spire in the North Shroud and speak with a man named Idristan. If any suspicious persons have crossed the border in recent days, he'd be the first to know. Hail, adventurer. Yes, I am the one tasked with monitoring those who would enter our lands by way of Corthus. Huh? An Asgardian knight clad in black armor? No, I recall nothing of the sort, and such a striking visitor would be difficult to forget. My apologies, friend. I can only suggest you return to Logridel and see if he has any other theories. Oh yeah, the gatekeeper. Names are weird. No luck, you say? I'm most curious. Why, it is nigh impossible that a fugitive could make his way, or make it this far, without being spied from the spire. Which leaves the possibility that your man is still in Ishgard. It runs counter to good sense. Would the fugitive not want to put distance of grounds between him and his pursuers? But by the process of deduction, it is a possibility. The crimes of Ishgard are not the climbs of Ishgard are not kind to drifters and vagabonds. That said, there has been talk of curious smoke wafting from a cave east of here at night. Were I you, I might begin my search there. That Ishgard would resort to sending coin-starved adventurers after me. I know not whether to laugh or feel insulted. The eye! It rouses for another? Preposterous! Our paths shall cross again. You can be sure of it. A dragoon clad in black, you say? Tell me, what transpired? Or tell me all that transpired. By the Fury, that I would choose another. I had not thought it possible. In light of recent events, it would seem an explanation is in order. The eye is no ordinary relic. It harbors the power of the Dragoon, or the dragon, which it bestows upon a single chosen soul, the strongest and wisest Dragoon. He who is chosen is possessed of the power to fight our mortal foes, the dragons of Dravania, on equal footing, soaring the firmament as if it were an extension of the land. That man is known as the Azure Dragoon. The Azure Dragoon is the light of hope for all Ishgardians, and the paragon of all dragoons. For this reason, you can imagine how it pains me to have to confess that the man you encountered, the thief, is none other than the Azure Dragoon, and that I was once his teacher. Needless to say, I acknowledge myself accountable for Estinian's misdeeds, and mean to do all in my power to find him and recover the eye. But I cannot do this alone. I require your help, Kiara. You who have received the power of a dragon, or of the dragon. You may labor to believe it, but there can be no mistake. The soul of the dragoon I bear glows in your presence, irrefutable proof that you are chosen. What I can ill explain, however, is the why of it. Never before in Ishgard's history, or Ishgard's long history, has the eye roused to more than one individual in a single generation. But it avails us not to cudgel our brains about it. The fact of the matter is that you are now a vessel for the power of the dragon. That dragon lies yet in slumber, however, and you must needs possess the means to wake it, the soul of the dragoon. I would entrust you with mine, Kiara. Like Estinian, I once ruled the skies as the Azure Dragoon, though that power has since been lost to me. It was simply by force of habit that I hitherto kept the soul on my person. I have no inkling as to why the Eye has seen fit to choose a second, and an outsider at that. Yet one thing is clear. None can challenge the Azure Dragoon and conceivably prevail, save another Azure Dragoon. You are our only hope of bringing Estinian to justice and reclaiming the Eye. Of course, I do not ask that you do this unaided. I may be a Dragoon no more, but what knowledge I have, I shall gladly impart to you. For indeed, when the time comes that you must face the Azure Dragoon, not less than complete mastery over the power of the dragon will avail you. That a perilous road lies ahead of you, I shall not deny. Knowing this, if you would still lend me your lance, I will teach you to harness the power that has chosen you. Go forth, my young dragoon, and rouse the dragon within. I look forward to your return. Right, Dragoon obtained. We are now a Dragoon. Actually, let's do a little bit more of... We have jump. Jump is something we must make use of. Let's put that here. Which means we now have this to put here. In fact, there. It is pleasing to see how readily the dragon stirs within you. You show great potential, Kiara. A potential that may well prove the difference between victory and defeat. Estenian is no ordinary Dragoon. Even when set against the legendary Ashers of ages past, the man is considered the second to none. Such is his prowess. In fact, that the day he was chosen by the Eye, was proclaimed that Haldrith, the Dragon's Eye, had been reborn. I mean, not to disparage your skills, Kiara, but to pursue Estenian in your current state would be tantamount to suicide. As promised, I shall train you in the ways of the dragon, that you might face Estenian as an equal. Before we commence, however, it is only fitting that you are edified regarding our origins. It all began a millennium past, when our forebears resided in the southern plains in humble circumstances. The Fury, impressed with the spirit of our ancestors, decided it was meant that she make them her own. So did she appear before Haldrith's sire, a man of courage and integrity, known as Thoradin, and bade him lead her people to the promised land. That, or to what would become the great nation of Ishgard. Their journey brought them to a wide chasm, whereupon Thoradin and his people set to building a bridge. It was then that a dark shadow descended upon them, the great worm Nidhogg. Heedless of his own safety, Thoradin fearlessly charged at the colossal beast. Alas, he was pushed into the chasm by one of his own, a man seduced by the worm, and fell to his death. Taking up his slain sire's lance, Haldrith hurled himself at Nidhogg, even as tears streamed down his face. The confrontation ended when the young man his hand guided by Helion, landed a mighty thrust that prized out Nidhogg's eye. With a terrible roar of pain, the great worm took wing and fled, while a wild jubilation reigned below. Ishgard's priceless relic is none other than the eye taken from Nidhogg that day. It is a veritable wellspring of dragon power. Even so removed from its owner, it can exert control over the hearts of men. Haldrith himself felt its malign influence, but his love of justice broke no corruption. And he prevailed over the power, claiming it for his own. And so it was that the first Azure Dragoon was born. Being derived from our foe, the power of the dragon is a thing to be loathed. But as Haldrith proved to us all, so long as our hearts burn with justice, we need not fear being taken in its thrall. But what is justice precisely? Justice assumes many shapes and forms, Kiara, and none can say that one is greater than the other, so long as you hold fast to your beliefs and stay true to yourself. You leave no room for the power of the dragon to master you. But enough of history. Let us return our attention to the present. A knight by the name of Sir Brucint will see to the next stage of your training. Seek him out at Witch Drop. He is below. There you are. Now, why would he be so hidden, I wonder? So, the adventurer seeks to become a dragoon. Ha! Sir Albrecht speaks of legends and chosen ones, but I would see you prove yourself in a more practical fashion. With your lance, defend yourself! You have some skill, I will give you that, and the glow of your soul crystal. Perhaps Sir Albrecht is not wrong about you after all. Now, return to him. Your training here is complete. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good. Personally, I think I would recommend completing the Dragoon quests before Heaven's Word. As spoilers, 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 spoilers. The soul of the Dragoon grows even stronger within you, Kiara. Clearly, your trial was a rousing success. You need only observe your crystal to know as much. Yes, although you have only just begun to walk the path of the dragon, or the Dragoon, it is clear you possess the talent to become Estinian's equal. Go forth and make the powers you have obtained your own. When the time is right, we shall proceed with your training. Alright. Doomspike. You grow even ever stronger, and I speak of more than just the flesh. Aye, you have but surely realized your potential as an Azure Dragoon. It is heartening to look upon, though I must confess that my presiding feeling is one of relief. You must understand that mere thought that I would choose an outsider, one who ill comprehends the threat posed by the dragons, filled me with the gravest of misgivings. Yet you have... but I shall say no more. Less flattery impede your improvement. And now, during our last lesson, I enlightened you regarding the origins of dragoons. You will recall how Haldreth heroically triumphed over the great worm Nidhogg, and Ishgard came into possession of the Eye. Tell me, Kara, do you believe that all these events truly transpired? Or are you inclined to think them fairy tales? I ask you this because few folk have ever seen dragons in the flesh besides we Ishgardians, and most would as soon dismiss them as products of imagination. Alas, dragons are no less real than you and I, with Nidhogg perhaps the most real of all. In the course of its history, Ishgard has suffered the creature's wrath on 8 separate occasions. Each time the great worm rouses, the blood of countless Ishgardians is spilled. Let us revisit the past once more, Kiara. This time 20 summers passed in the place Dravania. After a century of slumber, Nidhogg awakened once more to resume his reign of terror. Entire villages were razed to the ground, their inhabitants reduced to smothering ash. Sensing the great worm's unbridled rage, others of his kind began to rouse, and in such numbers as to blot out the sun with their wings. A deep, foreboding darkness swept over Ishgard. Raging infernos painted the bellies of the sky an angry red, or the belly of the sky even. The agonized screams of innocent fading into deathly silence. In my station of Azure Dragoon, I was there through it all, bore witness to all the horrors. But there was no time to offer even a silent prayer. Nidhogg lingered in one place only long enough to lay waste, and when he took wing, he did, or so too did I pursue him, a man possessed. The game of cat and mouse continued for what seemed an eternity before I found myself face to face with the great worm. The battle unfolded in a tiny settlement on the edge of Corthus, raging on for 3 days and 3 nights, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Remaining on my feet by sheer force of will, I realized that it must end now, else it shouldn't end well. Marshalling my last ounce of strength, I wagered all on a single thrust. My lance struck home, burying deep in the ruin of my opponent's empty eye socket. Yet, before I could withdraw my weapon, the worm lashed out wildly and in its agony, dealing a blow that left me sprawled on the scorched earth, nigh insensate. Basically, it knocked him out. In that instance, I find myself surely doomed. But Helion was not finished with me. Having lost a taste for battle, Nidhogg left loose a blood-curdling roar before fleeing to the sky. The battle was over. While I did not perish from my injuries, they rendered my body unfit to bear the power of the dragon, and I was Azure Dragoon no more. Lying bedridden, my thoughts wandered to all the innocent lives that had been lost, the people I had failed to protect. That last conflict with the dragons of Dravania left countless orphans in its wake. Estinian is one of them, the sole survivor of Ferndale, the final village to suffer Nidhogg's wrath. With no one left to care for him, I did the only thing I could. I took in Estinian as my own son, instructing him in the ways of the Dragoon. When he was of an age to learn, or instructing him on the ways of the Dragoon when he was of an age to learn. Yet I would not have you think me noble. My actions were born not of compassion, but of guilt. My guilt at having failed him. But alas, I have also failed him as a father. For what manner of man did I bring him up to be? A thief who would endanger the life of every one of his countrymen. You heard me right. All of Ishgard may suffer for his crime. Though we know little and less of the minds of dragons, it is conceivable that the disturbance surrounding his stolen eye will rouse Nidhogg to awaken once more. That his kin have already stirred from their slumber serves as fair warning of that. Time is not on our side. Fortunately, it would seem that you are more than ready to embark on your next trial. Make your way to Witchdraw, where the Knight Hostens awaits your arrival. My nation is depending on you, Kiara. You are the one who would aspire to be Azure Dragoon. Why, not even of Ishgard. If you truly possess the power that Sir Albrecht sees in you, then prove it to me with your lance, on guard. That strength, I have not seen its like since Estinian himself stood before me. Mayhaps Sir Albrecht has the right of it, after all. Return and show your crystal to him, and no doubt he will be pleased. possessed, or you have passed yet another trial with flying colors, Kara. The day when you stand before Stenian as an equal is not far off. And that day, or when that day comes, the Eye will choose you over the traitor. I have no doubt of this. But we must be patient still. For now, you must continue your training. When you can do more or know more on your own, seek me out once more. That was the level 40 quest. Here comes the level 45 quest. Impeccable timing, Kira. Master arrived from Estinian but moments ago. Much to my astonishment, he would trade words with us and bids us meet him at Boulder Downs. As to his true intentions, I cannot say. It may well be a trap, but we must go nonetheless. I trust I can count upon your company. Greetings, Master. It has been too long. Estinian, end this folly at once. You must know that each second the Eye passes outside of Ishgard's walls brings us closer to a repeat of the tragedy of 20 summers past. Surrender yourself to the Eye surrender yourself and the Eye, and return with me to Ishgard before it's too late. But it is already too late, Master, for you see, Nidhogg has already awakened. What? Hear me, Master. You have mistaken the cause of the dragon's return. The Eye is not to blame. A premonition came to me by virtue of the dragon within, warning me that the great worm would soon rouse. Even as he slumbered, Nidhogg seethed with irrepressible rancor for that wound of 20 years ago. That rancor would send him flying as a speeding arrow toward Ishgard, whereupon death and devastation will ensue. But there is a possible solution. Were the Eye taken to a remote land, far from the Holy See, then and only then could destruction be averted and the lives of innocent Ishgardians be spared. You mean to make a bait of yourself? Nay, there is more to this than you let on. You seek vengeance for Ferndale. To me, the two are one and the same. You know my past better than anyone else. It was for no other reason than to avenge my family that I became a Dragoon. Dragoons long outlive men and do not soon, or dragons long outlive men and do not soon forget the wrongs done them. What grudge they harbor burns as a fire in their hearts, over time swelling into an unquenchable inferno. We need only look back on history to see that Nidhogg grows stronger with each awakening. When last he darkened our skies, the great worm came within a hair's breadth of laying waste to Ishgard. Not short of death will prevent him from completing his mission. When next he wakes, Nidhogg took everything from me. Now I shall take everything from him, even if it means risking my life. The eye works in ways men ill comprehend, but this much is plain. In choosing two Azure Dragoons in one generation, it means for us to join together in a common cause. Adventurer, you have heard my resolution. Now I ask you to lend me your strength, your power. Aye, the power of the dragon. In the long, proud history of Ishgard, never before have two Azure Dragoons arisen in the same era, to fight as one. It is our best, nay, our only chance to send the great worm to an eternal slumber. Behold my armor. This is the Dragon mail forged in the lifeblood of dragons. As blood calls to blood, so too does the armor call to the dragon within, redoubling the wearer's strength thereby. If you would realize your potential as an Azure Dragoon, you must needs clad yourself in the same. Clad so, you will inherit the technique passed from Azure Dragoon to Azure Dragoon, down through the generations. Then, and only then, will your training be complete. But first, you must win the Dragon armor or Dragon mail, as I and Sir Albrecht did before you, by proving yourself worthy in the ultimate trial of the Azure, a series of battles so harrowing as to set the unworthy to an early demise. To send even. Master, once the adventurer acquires the armor, pray see to it that she learns to harness the power of the dragon in full. Estinian, wait! Save your worries. I do not mean to make myself easy prey for the dragons. I take my leave of you. Okay. Estinian. Forgive me, I was deep in thought. Now then, as to acquiring armor of which Estinian spoke, at first it was my intention to bequeath mine own armor to you. I am an Azure Dragoon no longer, and its powers are wasted on me. It would be simple enough to hand it over to you and complete your training right here and now. But as Estinian said, the Dragon armor is no ordinary set of mail. Its strength derives from the dragon blood whence it came. The blood power resonating with the soul of the wearer. Though I can no longer draw upon mine own armor's power, its bond to me was forged years ago. Were I to bestow it upon you now, I fear it would offer but a fraction of the protection it would afford me in those bygone days. Estinian has the right of it. You must claim your armor as he and I did before you. You must complete the trials of the Azure that the powers of dragon blood be yours and yours alone. The ogre's belly will be where your final test begins. I shall dispatch Sir Bersamont there. Seek him out upon your arrival. Okay, so it wasn't a frame job and trying to basically steal the eye from Estinian that I thought it was going to be. Can you blame me for not trusting the Holy See, considering the quest lines we've seen, been involved in? There we go. Hello. You have grown strong since we last met, adventurer, but you pale in comparison with your azure forebears. If you'd prove me wrong, let me or Lance do the talking. Once again, adventurer, you prove yourself worthy beyond my expectations. Take this, but know that your trial has only just begun. Your next trial lies in the chamber beyond here. Beyond Sir Estonian awaits you there. You're a foreigner. You, a foreigner, but don the Dragon armor. Then prove to us that you will not do it dishonor. Sir Albrecht said I had chosen you, and it would appear he speaks true. The armor is yours. Wear it with pride and honor. Your trial is nigh complete, but be forewarned. Many before you have made it this far, only to fall at the final challenge. Do not let overconfidence be your downfall. So you have made it this far. Very well. Prove yourself worthy of the Azure, or die in the effort. You have demonstrated your powers to me beyond a doubt. There is not an Ishgardian who would gainsay your right to don the armor of dragons. I shall send word ahead to Sir Albrecht that you have passed your trials here. It is he who will present you with the fourth piece of armor and consummate your training. Go now, my fellow Dragoon, and deliver this land from the great worm's wrath. Alright. We are reaching the end of the Dragoon quest line. I hear from Sir Brucemont that you performed most impressively. Yes, I stand even more convinced that you will be the one to save our land. Yet be warned, Kiara, one last trial awaits you. You will face this trial in the presence of our knights, but are not of knights, but of ghosts. Make your way to the Steel Vigil and seek out a gravestone north and west of the structure. Take with you this flute, and when you reach your destination, blow a single strong note. A visitor shall soon arrive. Entertain your guest, and should he leave behind a present, return it here to me. All right. Alright, so I did not complete the Lancer quest. Alright. Okay. We are... I am sorry, one moment. I had to mute and get some phlegm out of my throat. Alright, here we go. Your presence before me indicates you've seen the visitor. Have you aught to show for your deeds? Ah, the skull of Greywine. Old warrior of the Dragoon horde. It is said that in ages past he could bring down a castle with a single breath. His strength has dwindled since those days, but a dragon past his prime is a formidable foe nonetheless. In slaying him, you have proven your worth or yourself worthy of this. You now possess 4 pieces of the armor that Estinian, myself, and our forebears did wear. While you doubtless wonder about the 5th, I can tell you only that it is not mine to give. Fear not, however, your triumphs in this trial, and against the dragon of the horde, a dragon of the horde, give evidence that the Draken blood now resonates with yours. Yes, you stand before me as prepared for your ultimate challenge as any could be. And yet, before we proceed, I would hear it from your own lips. The Great Worm's power is the stuff of legends. Have you truly resolved to fight this battle, to risk your own life to deliver a foreign land from the clutches of ancient foe? Or its ancient foe, even. When you are certain that your mind is settled, return and speak to me. Screw it, I'm equipping it. And I'm turning it on. So far, this is the armor. A blue glow to it, it would seem. Winged glide. So, you would join your strength to Estinians, that Ishgard might be free from the rage of the Great Worm forevermore. Then I shall honor my promise. You'll have full use of your powers by the time we are done. Before we begin, there is something I must confess. You will recall the tale of my battle with Nidhogg 20 years past, and how the power of the dragon left me on account of the injuries I sustained. What I said was an untruth. The power did not abandon me, Kiara. It was I who abandoned it. Being derived from our mortal enemies, the power of the Azure Dragoon is a double-edged sword. Even as it lends us the strength we need to smite dragons, it heightens our communion with the creatures, rendering our minds more susceptible to their seductions than ordinary men. Even as I buried my lance in Nidhogg's flesh, our gazes locked, and mine eyes met then with a look that would fair and pale me. In that instant, I found myself assaulted by a torrent of emotions not mine own. Sorrow, rancor, pity. They threatened to drown the man in me and leave behind a dragon. Fearing that I might turn traitor, I chose to purge myself of the power that the eye had bestowed upon me. Thus, regaining lucidity, I was able to rout the grievously wounded Nidhogg. Alas, countless of his brethren yet remained. As if to mock me, they fell upon Ferndale with a vengeance. Bereft of my power, it was all I could do to save but one child. Nary a soul knows of this, nay, not even Estinian. But I can keep him in the dark no longer. At our last meeting, Estinian said that protecting Ishgard and exacting revenge upon Nidhogg are as one to him. That frame of mind, I fear, may well lead to his demise. The desire to protect and the desire to avenge are opposing forces that can ill be reconciled. Worse, the latter serves only to cloud his sense of self. This hits harder knowing what I know. When next Estinian and I intend to confess all, though it mean the loss of his good opinion. The outcome of this coming battle and his very life may well depend on his readiness to relinquish his powers. Never allow yourself to forget the origin of your strength. Ever does the dragon lurk beneath your eye, or behind your eyes, biding its time, ready to claim you for its own. Aught less than complete conviction, and you will find yourself in its vice-like clutches. So forewarned, let us return to our present endeavor. My promise to Estinian was that I would impart upon you the technique that will mark you as a true Azure Dragoon. If you would know the truth, however, this knowledge is not within my power to bestow. No, you must claim the technique, much as you claimed the fourth piece of armor you bear. By proving yourself in battle with the dragon whose power you would make or unite with your own. I entrust you with this flute once more. Take it to the southwest of Providence Point and blow a single note. By locking wills with your adversary and prevailing, you shall prove yourself worthy to champion the cause which your lance is sworn, or to which your lance is sworn. The dragon you shall await, or the dragon within you that shall then awaken. It's good to see you safely returned. I take it from your bearing that the engagement went favorably. You left this place as a woman, Kara, but you return as a dragon. There is no more for me to teach you. I'm here. Your battle is yours and yours alone. Now, you might recall me saying that the fifth and final piece of Dragon armor was not mine to give. However, that is not wholly true. I could guide you in the right direction of that which you seek. That said, I yet have some reservations. The sheer power of the dragon housed within such a great many of your Azure Dragoon fare bearers, myself among them, have proven hopelessly incapable of wielding it. I do not doubt what I see. Within you, has awakened the strength that forever eluded the likes of me. If you are not worthy of wearing the armor, then I know none who are. Remember my warning to you, Kara, and heed it well. Nidhogg is a lord among his kind. Aught less than complete conviction, and you will surely fall under his thrall. Before you can master your foe, you must needs master yourself. Hone your lance arm till it can bear no further honing, and then present yourself to me when the time is come. I will tell you what you need to know. Look forward to our next meeting, my young Dragoon. Abilities? Or no, not adventure plate. Actions and traits. Okay, Doom Spike. That was what I needed to apply. Here we go. I also want to see something. Ah, this is one that you can adjust the visor on. Here it is, the last one. The last quest for the Dragoon job. Oh, Kiara, an urgent messenger arrived from Estinian. In your absence, he bids... Kiara, an urgent message arrived from Estinian in your absence. He bids you come at once to the Steel Vigil. It would seem Nidhogg is on the move, and rather sooner than we had anticipated. It appears you have not fully become master of the dragon within you. And yet, we are racing against time. I fear we have no choice but to do battle to the best of your current abilities. And without the Draken mail I promised. Now, let us away. Estinian must know the truth of Ferndale, lest he fall for the worm's seduction. Yeah. influence. All right, here we go. Albrecht, I have waited long for this day. You, who fancy yourself an Azure Dragoon, the man whose cause you have taken for your own, is a coward. He relinquished the power of the dragon of his own volition and watched as Ferndale burned. Do you not think it ironic that I was chosen Azure Dragoon? I, an orphan who has not a value to protect in Ishgard? I suppose I must give thanks, for it was the eye that revealed to me the truth, a truth so damning as to undo a lifetime of trust. I loved you as a father, but I can ill forgive you for Ferndale. As I understand, you've taken you've as I understand it, you've kept even the Archbishop in the dark regarding the missing eye. Do you mean to take your shame to the grave? But I waste my breath. Prepare yourself, old man, for I shall lay waste to all the things you hold dear, and once I'm finished with you, I shall do what no Azure Dragoon has succeeded in doing. I shall claim Nidhogg's head. Calm yourself, Estinian. Your rage renders you vulnerable to the dragon's influence. Kiara. In you, I thought I had found a kindred. Or I thought I had found kindred. Someone beside whom I could fight the great worm. It is with a heavy heart that I relinquish that dream. Your affection for this coward has rendered you deaf to your own destiny. Very well. That we would one day cross lances was inevitable from the moment of our first meeting, as well as we shall now find out who is the Eye's true chosen. There can be only one. Okay, here we go. Feeble creature, dost thou desire power? Look to thine anger, to thy hatred. It is there that thou shalt find it. Almighty Nidhogg, Lord of Dragons, grant unto me thy blood, that I might be granted the claws and fangs wherein to rend thine enemies. Kiara, this is impossible. It can't be. Forgive me, Estinian. I have failed you once again. I am fine, Kira. Somewhat shaken, but otherwise whole of body. Suffice it to say, I have much to reflect upon. Let us return to the observatorium. Alright, let's go. And turn in this quest, complete the Lancer and Dragoon quest line. Complete the armor of a Dragoon. And take a look at what both it and its higher tier look like. That is my footmark. When the being of darkness closed upon us, you appeared to be the spitting image of Haldreth the Dragon's Eye, just as he is depicted in the Holy Scriptures. I thought that mayhap the years had taken their toll on my mind, but behold, the soul of the dragon, or the Dragoon, shines as it never did in all the years I bore it. It would seem you have achieved that which was thought impossible. You have awakened the ability that none but the first Dragoon possessed. Truly, a momentous achievement. I can still scarcely believe that you were able to summon the self-same Draken male worn by Haldreth. To think that it had been sealed within the soul crystal all this time. I have borne witness to many and more wonders over the years, yet none compares to you, my young Dragoon. Could it be that you are... Mark not my mutterings. I am certain that it was your indomitable sense of justice that resonated with the spirit of the first Azure Dragoon, prompting him to bestow the armor upon you. Yes, that is doubtless what happened. As a being of As the being of darkness faded, so too did Nidhogg's aura subside, and now his kind have ceased their stirring. Whether this is a whether this was compelled by your awakening, I cannot say. I suspect we will learn the truth of it eventually. Estinian, my dear boy, whatever becomes of him, will he ever be able as a son to me? I pray that he is somewhere out there still, and that he has not wholly forgotten the great man he once was. And when that darkness brushed against me, the self-same torrent of emotions swept over me as those I experienced 20 summers past. But there was something else besides. There was a voice, and it lamented the rift that divides the dragons and men. You will come to comprehend what I speak of in due time. Till then, Kiara, I pray that you will ever use your newfound strength in the name of justice. This is the basic Dragoon armor. For females, anyway. Now, there is one thing we can check now that we have obtained the highest point of it. We will use the worm armor coffer. And rather than a purple glow, this has a bit of a blue glow to it. The armor seems more blue than even Estinian's his own. So who, I ask, is the true Azure Dragoon now? But, as Marco knows, it's time to end the stream. So, without further ado, I hope you had a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever you're up to, whenever you're up to it, wherever you're up to it, however you're up to it, whoever you're up to it with, whyever you're up to it. Make sure to drop a follow here in Twitch, and you'll be able to chat and chat. If you're watching live or as a VOD on Twitch. If you're watching live or if you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hit the bell for notifications no matter what site, and no matter what site, make sure to check out my Discord where I post a notification to let you know when I go live, even off schedule. Marco, come here. It's okay. We'll do that soon. If you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube, make sure to check out my channel here in the middle, where I post all of my VODs, and you can, if it's a little overwhelming, if there's too much, you don't know where to start, and you feel lost among it all, go ahead and check out this playlist on the right where I play a different game. If my stuff wasn't for you, but you stuck around anyway, you're amazing, you're awesome, and you deserve this video on the left that YouTube thinks you will like. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.